Now, if you do study ivy, and actually you can see from this photograph as well, there's often a lot of cyan blue in ivy. So again, I'm letting the brush do the work for me. I'm just using a number 30 centimetre Mottler. I'm just following the curve of the shape I created, just letting that paint lie. Once I start getting small, marquee, uptight, I lose the lovely originalness of the mark. So I'm just putting a little bit of cyan. The more I push that cyan into the colour, obviously the more it blends. The more I leave it, the more it just lies like that. And then there's all these little colours that I haven't even drawn in here. In order to get a sense of volume, we need to fill in some of these back gaps with some colour. And actually, I'm going to fill it in with dark sap green because I need a dark colour so it looks like the depth behind it. So I'm just filling some of those spaces in. What I've also got here for a little bit of interest and excitement is this one, which is called Permanent Green Light, which is a semi-opaque colour, and another colour called Permanent Green Deep, which is actually a transparent, and we know that because of the white box. And so I've put some on my disposable palette. Again, I'm not going to wash my brush out. I try not to wash my brush out as much as I can because, you know, the water gets caught in the ferrule, and you're painting with water even if you don't realise you are. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use that green deep, and I'm just going to, using the tip of the brush to bring some more shape back into my ivy. Now I'm just randomly, I'm pleasing myself, and this of course is about being a confident painter. Don't worry, trust you. Trust you and you'll be amazed at what happens. You know, you're never going to develop unless you trust you. It doesn't matter if what happens is a pig's ear. The more you do, the less pig's ear it becomes. So really trust you. You have to trust you in order to be an interesting, original painter. So that's some of my green deep. This is some of my green light. Look, you see, I'm just marking, just mark making. Stand back as far as you can and see what's going on. Now, I think that's a gorgeous colour, this lovely green light as well. And what it's doing, can you see, it's lifting the whole thing, and it's bringing more interesting colour, tonality, excitement into this. It's very easy to make a complete pig's ear of this because you can obviously do too much, but the key is to keep going on with the lights and the whites. So I'm not going to do any more to that, but I'm going to go back to my Azo yellow, and I'm just going to start really pushing that through my colours again, and just building up. You'll never do the same thing twice with this, of course, because what you're doing is kind of quite impetuous. It's almost abstract expressionism if you really want to put a label to it, because all you're doing is mark making. You're just putting the tones where you think they should be. And that's my yellow. And then going back on with my white too. This, I think, would probably take me about 4 or 6 hours actually to get it right. But I like what's happening very much. I like how it's working out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some burnt umber, and I'm going to start putting some of those, what are they called? Vines, branches, twigs, whatever it is that my ivy grows on. Can you see that just by bringing some form back in, which of course is what this is doing, this bringing form back in, and it's making more sense of those vine leaves. So I'm just getting a little bit here. This needs to be a lot lighter. I'm going to fill in some of these background shapes with some brown as well, just so it looks kind of more real. The other thing you can do to get a little bit of shape on here, it looks like a cacophonic, wrong word, it looks like a complete mess, which is great. It is a complete mess, and the only how you can get it to not look like a complete mess is the tone. The tone, the lights, the dark colours, and bring in those vines. And then also, with the end of a brush, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to carve in to the paint and just create some more shapes. Isn't that absolutely brilliant where it's picking that pink up? See, now this to me is just making a really original, lovely painting. We've still got ivy, but we've got a little bit of that pink coming through there again. I mean, that's the value of an underpaint. Yes, it would look really good actually if I just did a little bit more vine up here. So you can see I'm using a long-handled, smaller brush now. I'm just bringing some vine shapes in there so we can see what we're looking at. When it all goes wrong, and it probably will, because this isn't easy, but it is rewarding, and it's a great chance for you to show some bravery, show some excitement, understand tone, and what I'm looking for is a blade so that I can scrape it all off, because this is the beauty of, well actually it's the beauty of oils as well. You can of course scrape it all off, so I could just scrape it off, in small areas, get back to that pink. What I'm doing is I'm sculpting the space on the canvas now. I'm just sculpting, just taking a little bit of that paint pigment away to reveal the underpaint, which in this case is white, which is very useful because what it's doing is it's bringing it back to those very light areas. And then I can go back in. This time I've got a small round and bring in a little bit of shape around here if I want to. Just mark it up and so on. So tricky, I know, because what you're doing is a cacophony of shape and tone and colour, but I urge you to try. It's a really lovely, lovely thing to do. I need to bring in more shapes on here. I need to bring this out here. Stop this stop so clumpy. Lots of shapes going on around there and so on. If I've got time, I will finish this. But it could look pretty fantastic.